Okay, so let's get started understanding what is an operating system and why do we need a Linux operating system and all. Every one of us are using one or the other operating system, right? Operating system has got the features like what it does, like how it helps us execute our task and all. So we'll get a basic understanding on what is an operating system and why do we need Linux for DevOps, virtualization and virtual machine concepts, and what is cloud. Right, these are the things we would be looking at. So let us try to understand what is an operating system. Operating system is the main, or else it works like an interface. See, if we have some laptop, we need some operating system to perform some tasks, right? Maybe you want to do some, like you want to do some painting or you want to have some documentation, whatever it is, you would be needing an operating system, right? To work with any applications, like you might launch a browser or MS Office or Notepad, whatever it is, you need an operating system to execute these tasks, correct? So it works like an interface between the hardware, between like if you have hardware, it's not enough. You need to have an operating system installed to execute these tasks, right? So you must have at least one operating system to run to execute these tasks. So it works like an interface, a mediator between the hardware and the software applications you are using, right? That is how it works. So there were different operating systems, and every one of us are using the one or the other. And you might have seen that apart from just working like an interface, it does many things. Like it does the memory allocation, right? If any idle tasks are consuming the resources, releasing the resources, and allowing you to do multitasking and working with multiple applications, all of that are taken care by the operating system. When you say operating system does all of this, the actual component that is at the back end is the kernel, right? Kernel is the core component which does all these tasks. Correct. So it makes the communication between hardware and software possible. That's the one which is responsible for this communication and to execute all these tasks. Right. Linux uses monolithic kernel, which consumes more running space, where Windows uses microkernel, which takes less space. When you talk about kernel, it's a core component which it handles all these tasks. Again, in that kernel, there were different types like monolithic kernel, right, which consumes more running space. And this is in Windows. And in Windows, it has got microkernel, which consumes less space, but it is less efficient. The monolithic kernel used in Linux systems is more efficient. That's why the performance of Linux servers is more than Windows, and also it's more secure than Windows. That's the reason for the having monolithic kernel. Even though it occupies more space, it's more efficient kernel used in Linux operating systems. So there were different operating systems, and here are few differences between Linux and Windows. The very basic differences. As you all know, Linux is open source. That's not the case with Windows, right? You have to purchase the license for Windows. And Linux file system is case sensitive, right? The capital letter, the caps, the uppercase is different from the considered as different from the lowercase one. Whereas in Windows, it's case insensitive, the file system. And Linux uses monolithic kernel. Just now we have seen Windows uses microkernel. That leads to the differences in their performances. And Linux is more efficient in operations as compared to Windows. One reason for this is majority of the Linux systems are CLI, like they don't have GUI, so that they are lightweight and they are efficient in handling the task. Like from CLI, you can handle 100 files at a time. But from the GUI, it takes more time and also it becomes bulky with the GUI, right? That's how Linux systems are more efficient in operations. Always CLI should be preferred, and that's where the efficiency of Linux kernel secure for vulnerabilities and attacks. And also Linux uses forward slashes, whereas in Windows you use backward slash. And Linux is highly secure as compared to Windows. Just a second, I am facing internet issue. think it is okay now. So these are the differences between Linux and Windows, the very basic differences. Once you get started with the hands-on, you will see the actual differences, and you can like visible the differences when you get started with your hands-on. Right, these are the very basic differences. And why do we need Linux for Windows for DevOps? Majority of the DevOps tools like Docker is natively developed for Linux. Now you have Docker support for Windows as well, but it is natively developed for Windows. Same is the case with other tools as well, like Ansible, Prometheus. They can configure and monitor other operating systems as well. But Ansible server means Ansible should be installed on Linux. Same is the case with Prometheus. So majority of the tools needs Linux support. Also Linux, like we discussed, they are more efficient and secure. That's the reason we will be using Linux throughout the course for DevOps. That's the reason you need to know Linux. At least the basics working with the file system should be fine. And you don't, if you are completely new, you don't need to worry about it. It's like another environment, right? It's another platform. Like you learned Windows, similarly, you can learn Linux with little practice on daily basis. Regularly using it will help you get good understanding of it, right? So, and then comes the concept of, okay, fine, we understood that we need Linux for DevOps, so we would be installing Linux. But how do you install it? Let's say I have a Windows laptop, you have a Mac one, or someone else have some other operating system. So how do we configure or install Linux? Let's suppose I have a Windows laptop. Should I buy another laptop, or should I uninstall Windows and install Linux? What are your suggestions? What do you think we can do for this? Any inputs from anyone? Add additional OS says Anbalagan. Linux subsystem install says Shaker. Okay. We have a concept of virtualization which can help us have multiple operating systems. VMware says Prabhu. We can download VirtualBox says Pranchal. And there's a hand raised from Rajan. Yes, Rajan, you want to speak? Okay. So, what is virtualization? We can use the concept of virtualization. Virtualization uses software to create an abstraction layer or computer hardware that allows hardware elements of a single computer, like processors, memory, storage, and more, to be divided into multiple virtual computers, commonly called virtual machines. What is all of that? See, it's nothing but running a virtual machine on your actual operating system. Like, let's say I have Windows. On this Windows, you can have some virtualization, you can have some VM configured, right? So how does each VM runs its own operating system? Let me show you, let me explain this with a diagram, which helps better. See here, this is the hardware, means actually this is the laptop I'm talking about. Okay, so on this laptop, I have got some operating system. So this is the host operating system. Like let's say Zoom, mine is Windows. This is the host operating system. You will have the operating system installed. And then a hypervisor. What is a hypervisor? Hypervisor is a software, right, which helps you create your virtual machines, which help you create your virtual machines, which help you launch your virtual machines, which help you allocate resources to your virtual machines. And what is a virtual machine? See, this is your virtual machine. Virtual machine works like a normal operating system. It will have its own operating system, like guest operating system. It will even consume the resources like memory and CPU. Those resources will be provided by this hardware, right? Like resources like memory, CPU, those will be provided by them. right? These resources are provided by this hardware. Again, from hardware, we'll allocate some resources. So this virtual machine works like a normal machine. You can start, you can shut down, you can boot, you can do anything like a normal machine. So you see it has got guest operating system. Guest operating system means another operating system which sits on the host operating system. Host operating system is the main operating system in your laptop. On top of it, you'll have this guest operating system. Understood? Right? So this is what your virtual machine, and each VM is having its own guest operating system. Means even though my host operating system is Windows, you can have some Linux virtual machine here. Okay, some other distribution of Windows, maybe Windows 2020, let's say mine is Windows 11. So you can have different operating system. They just work like a normal machine. So instead of you buying another laptop or else uninstalling Windows and installing Windows on the same Windows laptop, I can install this hypervisor, a software which will help you create a VM or launch a VM or allocate a VM. Examples are VMware, VM Workstation, Oracle VirtualBox, right? These are all different examples of hypervisor. You can use some hypervisor and launch these virtual machines. How many of you have used some of the hypervisor? Have you guys used any of these hypervisors? Right? So using this hypervisor, you can launch your own VM. So using this hypervisor, we can launch the VM. So this is the kind of setup you can have it. But the problems with this kind of setup is it has got its own challenges. Just a second, I could not see the screen. Okay, so this is your virtual machine. This is how virtual machines work. So this is kind of setup we used to have some time back, right? But what is the problem or what is the disadvantage with it? Right, like I told you, you need to allocate resources to these VMs, right? When you allocate resources to these VMs, firstly, your host operating system or your hardware should have enough resources, right, to support this. Like let's say your hardware have got 40 GB, right? If each VM is consuming 20 GB, you should have enough resource. Let's say I want to launch two virtual machines. Your hardware should have enough resource. If it is having 40 GB and if you allocate all the 40 GB, the performance degrades or the system gets stuck up because it need to have enough resources for the main operating system as well to launch this and to run these operating systems. Right? So resources is one of the concern. You need to have enough resources. That is one thing. Another thing is resources. Let's say if you need more operating system. For our DevOps pipeline, we need more operating systems, more virtual machines, right? So if you try to source all of them from here, you have to expand your resources, which would be costly. Correct? Also, if something gone wrong with any VM, you should take care of backup recovery, which is an overhead for you. Maintenance, basically, let's say maintenance is an overhead, right? It is costly, it's a maintenance overhead, and also the performance of the actual system may degrade, allocating too many resources for them, right? These are all the challenges we have with our own kind of setup, with our own virtual machines. How to overcome this, we'll discuss, but before that, we will also talk about different type of virtual machine architecture. Different types of virtual machine architecture is like hosted architecture and bare metal architecture. In hosted architecture, you can have, this is the hardware. Okay, this is your laptop. On top of it, you have the host operating system. On top of it, you have hypervisor. Right, this is what we discussed. This is called hosted architecture, and this is used for our personal usage, right? This is the basic architecture. In organizations, companies also will have this kind of setup, right? And this is called bare metal architecture, which is implemented in organizations. How is that? That is again hardware. There will be no operating system, but they'll install hypervisor directly on it. Yes, that's called bare metal hypervisor. Example is ESXi, right? There are certain hypervisors which can be installed directly on the hardware. On top of it, you'll have the different virtual machines. Means there'll be huge hardware, a physical server on which you can install this hypervisor and get started with the VMs. The architecture is a bit different, but again, the concept is same, right? You can run different operating systems here. Is this much clear, everyone? Understood. So this is how it works. And again, here also the same kind of challenges we have. Maintenance is a challenge, right? It is costly buying those physical servers and maintaining them for all 24 hours. Let's say you need this VM only for 6 hours a day, but still you need to have backup, recovery, maintenance of this for all 24 hours, right? So maintenance, costly. You need to have a separate team to manage them, right? To maintain them, to manage them, means it's about companies having their own data centers. So a separate admin team is needed, a team is needed 24/7 in shifts, a person should be working to manage them. So these are all the challenges or the overhead we have with this virtual machines, right? So how do we overcome this? Either in a personal use case or in the data centers for the companies, how do we overcome this maintenance overhead, the cost and the team? Like you need to manage a separate team 24/7 to manage your hardware. And also it's very costly. The physical servers are costly. Again, you have to work on the backup recoveries. Of course, I have written them under maintenance. So all of them should be taken care by. So to overcome this, that's where came cloud into picture. Now companies, instead of managing their own data centers, they were using infrastructure from someone else's data centers, like a cloud data centers. You have so many clouds now, right? Like AWS, Azure, GCP, and so on. So companies are not creating or not using infrastructure from their own data center, rather availing their infrastructure from cloud. So what is cloud? It's a online demand, like online computing resources delivered to us over the internet, right? You can have it self-service, means you can just go to console and get the infra created. It is metered, means you pay only for what you use. Let's say you need only 6 hours. If you are using some machine server for 15 minutes or 6 hours, you have to pay only for that. You don't need to pay for the entire day maintenance and all, right? The maintenance, backup, recovery, all of them taken back care by the cloud. Cloud is nothing but another organization who is providing or sharing their own data center. So I'm using some infrastructure some from cloud, means I'm using some infrastructure of AWS, which is running on AWS data center, so that companies need not maintain their own data center, right? Self-service, like you don't need a separate team for it. You can go to the console and create it. Method, you pay only for what you use. You don't need to pay for the maintenance, backup, recovery of the instances, right? So that's how cloud is gaining a demand, and there are so many clouds evolving. Out of this, if you see AWS, GCP, Azure, AWS is very widely used, Azure is also good. And like again here also, it's not that you should focus on which cloud you are learning. You should try to expertise one cloud. Any cloud is good. Having knowledge on one cloud is what organizations is looking at, not but not for each specific cloud, because they're evolving, right? The market is changing every day. It's demanding. It's a fast-paced market. So if you have knowledge in one cloud, you're expected to work on other clouds easily. Right, so that's where cloud comes in. So not only organizations, even for your personal purpose, for your personal learning, to learn some tools or anything, you can go for cloud. Right, so that reduces overhead on your laptop, so that you will not be adding any load on your laptop. You are just connecting to the cloud, connecting to the instances which are running on AWS data center, and you are using it. So it will not burden you with the cost or with the effort of expanding the resources and all. Also, you don't need to worry about the backup of those machines and all. And as we progress to DevOps in the PCI/CD pipelines, we may need 4 to 5 servers at a time. So managing all of them in your laptop would be very much challenging and may not be possible. Right? So better you go for cloud, so that we'll get exposure to cloud as well. Right? So that's where cloud comes in. Any questions from anyone till this part? So if everyone is good with this, let us go to AWS, create some AWS free account, and let's create our own instance on AWS, connect to it, and let's get started with Linux. So let's move on. You can create a free account in AWS, free account in the sense, okay, I'll show you. Just go to AWS, go to the free account creation page. This is again self-explanatory and as simple as how you create any accounts on social media. Put some Gmail ID, write account name, verify your email address, and proceed on. It will take you through 6 pages, I believe. Even those steps are also there in the website in the screenshots here. Go to the live class, or else go to your program, and if you go to your program, you'll see the lab notes. Here you can see the screenshots of how to create an AWS account, everything. Of course, that might be a old document, but that will give you a clue on what to put, because the UI keep on changing. So the screenshots might be different, but easy to instance creation. Before that, okay, here itself account creation also will be there. Free account creation on AWS. Create a free account in AWS by clicking on create free account, right? And then proceed on with these steps. Uh, yeah, this is the one. AWS Amazon dot free. You are anyway creating free account only from this page. From this page. Just I'm showing what is a free account. Learn more about free tier, create a free account. Here you have 3 types of tiers. 12 months free. We are creating the one which is 12 months free. 12 months free means from the point of creating an account with your email ID, you will have 12 months free tire limit. And what is free? It's not like you can use any service unlimitedly free for 12 months. Let's say if you take EC2, you can use it for 750 hours per month for free. If you go beyond this quota, you should pay for it. So that's how there's a free tier limit on what is free. If you talk about EC2, EC2 means Elastic Cloud Computing Service. 750 hours per month is too beyond for our utilization, and it is pretty much falls into it. So you can go and use this for your learning. See what exactly is free, which type of operating systems are free, more details are there. If you take S3, 5 GB of standard storage is free. Right, so that's how it is. Some are like per month, some are overall for 12 months, and so on. So that's how you can go for it. Right, hope you understood what is free. So that's what we are creating here. So for 12 months, you can use services within the free tier limits. So go and create an account. Once you create an account, you would be able to log in. I'm logging in now. Like I told you, here is the document with all the screenshots of how to create an account. It is as simple as that. These screenshots are just for reference. The UI might be a little bit different. And during this process, you will be asked to provide some credit card or debit card details for checking the validity, right? Validity of a human and a valid person. So put those details. It will debit 2 rupees, 1 or 2 rupees, and it will also credit that back after validating. Okay, that's how you should create a free account. So get started and create a free account. Once it is created, you can log in with that email ID. You will be using some email ID to log in, preferably the Gmail ID. With the same, you can log in. You should also enable two-factor authentication like you do for your Gmail. And you should be installing some authenticator app on your mobile for two-factor authentication where you have to provide that authentication code. That's how two-factor authentication can be enabled. It's taking some time to load. How many of you have created this account already or just now? If you are creating for the first time, it will say that it may take some 24, 26 hours, sorry, 24 hours to enable it, but it would be enabled much before than that. This is the multi-factor authentication. You have to install the authenticator app on your mobile and provide that authentication. That's to enable two-factor authentication. Okay, so in the beginning, like for the first time, this is how you'll see your AWS console. Search for a service called EC2. EC2 means Elastic Cloud Computing Service. See, Elastic Cloud Compute Cloud. That's how the name EC2. It works like create, manage, monitor virtual servers in the cloud. It's nothing but you are creating virtual machines on the cloud, like you would create on your laptop rather than creating on our laptop. We were creating them on AWS data center and we are using it, right? So we were getting started with EC2 service on AWS. Like I told you, Linux and EC2 are spread throughout the course. They're horizontal, spread across the course, right? It's not that we'll start AWS and finish it. We'll pick up AWS services as per the requirements and as per the use cases. So this is our EC2. Let's launch the EC2 instance or go to the dashboard of EC2. So you will see instances here. Just go here. And these are some existing instances which I created before, or else you can create your own instance. Like launch instance. I'm just giving name as demo instance. So what are all the details you have to provide? You will see something like application and OS image, Amazon machine image, AMI. That's called AMI. Amazon machine image is called AMI. Okay, you have to choose the AMI here. From this drop down, you can choose Amazon Linux too. And by the way, see here, Mac, Ubuntu, Windows, so many are there. Here I am choosing Amazon Linux, and within that Amazon Linux too, not 2023. Okay, I have tested this and this is the one I'm using, and you can see it's a free tier eligible, right? So I'm selecting this and mm. And this Amazon Linux too is CentOS Red Hat based. Means what is CentOS Red Hat? These are different distributions in Linux. So CentOS Red Hat based are the ones more widely used in real time as well. So I'm using Amazon Linux too, which is based on CentOS Red Hat. Okay, I'm choosing it. That's what is Amazon Machine Image. Once you choose it, next comes instance type. Which type of instance you need. Here type means which discuss about the CPU and memory. Like how much of CPU and memory you want to allocate for it. Like 1 vCPU and 1 gigs of memory. It's a T2 micro means it's a general purpose usage. 1 CPU and 1 gigs of memory. So I'm choosing this one CPU and one GIPS. T2 micro, this is free tier eligible. This is pretty much enough for our hands-on. So choose this. And then key pair to login. This is the SH key pair used to login. We will learn SH concept in our course separately. For now, just create a key pair. Here I'm choosing a new key pair. I'm giving the name as any name you can use. Demo key pair. Okay, demo already exists. Let me give the name as sample key pair. Okay. And when you click on create a key pair, it will help you download the key pair in the PEM format. Only for the first time of creating it, you will be able to download it. The concept behind this key pair, we will learn it separately. Just follow the steps. It will ask you to download in the form of PEM file. Just download this. Just create this key pair. And for the first time, you see it got downloaded. You should save it because next time onwards you cannot download it. Only once it will give you option to download. And if you lose it, you may not able to connect to the instance. So just save it. Okay. And that's all. Leave everything else as it is and launch the instance. So it says it successfully launched. You can see your instance here. This is your instance. And you can see it's a running. EC2 instance is nothing but the virtual machine running on AWS data center. Okay, see you can see it's running T2 micro. It shows all the details you have given. The key pair is sample. Okay, so it's running. And also one more important thing is whenever you are creating instance, here at the top you will see list of regions. These regions are nothing but physical data centers of AWS. You have to choose the region which is nearer to you to avoid lag and latency. Right? So I'm choosing Mumbai, which is nearer to me. So if you are from US, UK, you can have to choose the region nearer to you. Right? So the instance is running. Okay, fine. Can I know where is it running? Is it running on our own laptop? Where is it running? These are the things you have to get clarity on. It's running on AWS data center. Okay, fine. I have the VM created. How do we connect it? Again, there are multiple ways to connect it. I'll show you all the different ways. And I'm creating this for our lab, for our learning purpose, learning Linux. And how to connect also, the notes is available. See here, document to browser based connect. Document 3, AWS instance connect using Git bash on Windows. Option 4, connecting to instance with putty on Windows. So all of them were documented and available here. Okay, you can also follow those when you are doing hands-on. Now let me show you all those ways. First way is select the instance, click on connect. Okay, you will see different things. Go to EC2 instance connect. Okay, this is the easiest way of connection. Just click on connect. This is the easiest way of connection and not realistic, because in reality you may not have console access. You may not be able to connect this way. But for now, we can connect. Browser based connect, a quick connection. You can connect to the instance quickly. See, you are already connected and you are logged in as EC2 user at the rate IP address of the instance. EC2 user is the default user on the system and you are logged into it. Okay. That is one way. What is the other way? Again, select this instance to which you want to connect. Click on connect. Go to SH client. Okay, here again you will see open an SH client. Steps are here. Follow those steps. That's it. Open an SH client. What is an SH client? If it is Windows, Git bash is your SH client. You all know Git bash, right? You have installed Git bash for doing hands-on on Git. So open your Git bash, okay, and then locate your PEM file. Means go to the PEM file, like you downloaded it, right? Go to that location of the PEM file and then run this command, or else connect to the instance this way, or else simply you can run this command. So if it is Windows, go to your Git bash or go to your yeah, preferably Git bash and do it. If you are on Mac, you can launch your terminal and go to the location of the PEM file. My PEM file is in the downloads folder. CD will help you navigate. Okay, I am in the location where I have the PIM file. So now run this command which you have copied. SSH -i sample.pem EC2 user at the rate public DNS of the instance. The meaning of this we will learn under SSH concept. Now just run it. It will ask for confirmation. Yes. See, it will tell you unprotected file, right? An error saying that it's not protected. Again, we will learn this concept later. Here it is giving you clue. Open an SH file, go to the location of the PEM file, run this command to provide write permissions to the file. Okay, that's all. Now again try to SH. See, you are able to SH. I got the terminal. I got the prompt of from the EC2 instance. Got it clear how to connect from your SH client? You can use Git bash if it is Windows. You can use terminal if it is Mac. Are we clear? Appreciate your quick responses. So this is another way to connect, and this is always the best and the preferable way to connect. Okay. And the other way to connect is like we have connected from the browser, from the terminal on Windows. Those are the steps. Like if you want to connect from the Git bash, here are the steps. Okay. And similar to Git bash, on Windows, you can have other terminals like Putty, Mobexterm and all. So how to connect from Putty also is given here. That's just a different SH client. Am I clear, everyone? Are we good and clear? Thank you all for confirming. So those are the different ways to connect. You can try out. Only the difference is if you are trying to connect from Putty or Mobexterm on Windows, you have to have PPK file. So once you have PEM file generated, you can generate a PPK file from that PEM file. You can download Puttygen and load this PEM file and generate a PPK file, because Putty and Mobexterm uses private key file in the form of PPK format, putty private key file. Okay, that's how you should connect. Or else one more thing is whenever you are launching an instance, if you are creating an instance, during creation of the key pair itself, see it will default is PEM format. You can also use PPK format for putting. But if you use PPK, you may not revert back to PEM. That's why always download PEM file and later using Puttigen, convert this PEM file into PPK format. Okay, that's what you should do. Hope you all understood creation and connecting to the instance. Any help needed, refer this documentation. Sorry, where is this? Module 2, lab setup. Okay, follow this documentation with for all the guidance. So, okay, fine. Now that you are connected, you may be connecting from your terminal on Mac, from the browser, or from Putty, or Mobextrum, or Git Bash, whatever it is. Once you connect, this is how it looks like. You will see the easy to use a prompt. Okay, that's a default user. If it is disconnected, again connect to it. Okay, so now I can run any Linux commands, right? Let's say ls. If you want to know where are you, like what is the location, present working directory. So I'm under home EC2 user. That's a path where I am sitting on. So that's how you can see the commands. That's how you can utilize this commands. So now let's get started learning Linux. Good to go? Right. So when I do ls, it's not listing anything. Let us create some folder. Mkdir means make directory. Create a folder. Right. I am creating a folder called demo. So now if you do ls, you can see the folder. I would like to go into this folder, means cd demo. So change directory. Cd means change directory. Go to this folder and now again ls, I don't find anything. Let me create some file. How can you create a file here? Just touch can be used. Touch is to create a file. File1.txt, that's one way to create a file. If you do ls, you can see the file here. Can you all see the screen? It got a like a glitch. It's going away for a while. Okay, so this is how you can create a file. If you want to create a file using editor, like a particularly like a Vim editor, if you are using file2.txt, Vim file2.txt. Okay, so just go to this and maybe you can type in. Vim is an editor in Linux machines. You can use Vim VI editor or Nano editor if you are already aware of it and if you are comfortable with it. Otherwise, you can go with Vim. That's a editor on Linux. So when you use Vim and the file name, file will be created if it is not present and it will open in an editor like this. Okay, save this. Okay, now if you do ls, you will see two files, file1 and file2. Understood? So that's how you can. And how do you save the file? See, I'm opening it again with the editor file, Vim file to escape I, so that at the bottom you will see you are in the insert mode. Now it will allow you to type and then again escape colon WQ exclamatory, right? So that the file will be saved. This is how you will see the files. Okay, so file is created. Okay, fine. Let's suppose I want to copy this file. CP means copy. File 2. Let's say I would like to copy as file 3. Now, if you do ls, you can see three files. CP is a simple copy command. See, in the Windows, you do all of these tasks, right? You have a GUI, you'll right click, create a files, folders, and you will copy. So the same things we are doing from the CLI. That is the only difference. Nothing else we are doing, just the basic file system operations, which are very minimal. Everyone should know when you're working on those operating systems, isn't it? Like Windows, you launch your Windows and get used to it as you use them every day. Similarly, these commands you should practice every day. That's how you get used to it. Right? So I just copied it. Let's suppose if you want to delete any file, RM will delete a file. Right? RM, your file is gone. CP will create a copy of it. RM will help you delete the file. Let's say I just came out of this. If you want to just go one level back in the Windows Explorer, you will just delete it, right? Like you will just delete the folder. Or else if you want to go back, you can click on back button. Here, if you want to go back one level up, CD dot dot. That will take you one level back. See, I'm again under home EC2 user. In this, you have a demo folder, right? This is where you see. Right. So now I'm in this demo folder. I just want to come out of this as well. So I am on the main folder. Now I have demo. Let's say I want to copy this demo. Move command will help you, or else CP command will also help you copy. CP minus R demo to, let's say, test folder. Okay. See here, test folder you have got, copying the same demo into test, right? So everything you have, minus R is to copy everything recursively. Okay. So that's how you can copy everything. And we have seen copying a file, we have seen copying a folder. If you want to move a file, what is the difference between move and copy? Let me show you. I would like to move this file to let's say one level up. Okay. I can write the complete path. It's actually home, easy to, actually it's under home, easy to user. I just want to copy here, move here. You see, file 2 is gone here. It is moved. Move is like cut and paste. Whereas copy is like copy and paste. All right. So now here you should see file 2. Understood? Everyone? Copying a folder, copying a file, moving a file, moving a folder. So now, let's say I want to delete a folder. RM is to delete a file, right? Let's first let me delete this again. File 2. Okay, file 2 is gone. If you want to delete a folder, RM demo, it will not work. See, it's a directory. So if you want to delete a folder and the content of it recursively, RM minus RF. Okay, so gone. Demo folder is gone. File 2 is gone. And you have just the test folder. Any questions from anyone? Are you all following? I just want to know how many of you are new to this Linux part? New to Linux completely. Raise your hands whoever are new to Linux. Can you all raise the hands, like whoever are new? Okay, I see one hand raised. Only one person is new. Everyone know these basics? Okay, only one person who is new to Linux. Otherwise, everyone is good with this part, right? All right. Thank you. Thanks for confirming. Okay, so and whatever commands I'm using here, cd, rm, ls, everything is there in the drive, I mean in the folder, in the documentation, in the lab assignments, everywhere you can see them and for your hands-on. The suggestion is for the beginners or for whoever want to revise these concepts, use these commands daily 10 minutes. It's not that something you will learn and you will master in an overnight. You will learn day by day, right? So go through these steps. I mean, learn them step by step. And also, we are doing ls in the current folder, right? Let's suppose you want to see the list of files in some other folder. There is something like etc bin, right? Let's say you want to see that. Okay, we don't have etc. Let's say etc is a folder. See, you can see everything here, right? So ls and the path of a particular directory where you want to see or what details you want to see. That's how you can see. And there is one more file like etc os release. If you want to see any contents of the file, cat command can be used. Cat is to read the content of any particular file. This particular file, HCOS release, will have all the OS information, right? Like which operating system is it, what type of operating system is it, and all. So whenever you are given an operating system, you can do it to understand which distribution of Linux you are using. See here, mine is Amazon Linux 2, right? This is Amazon Linux 2. Its ID is like Amazon and it is like CentOS, Red Hat, Fedora. Okay, you can see the details like this. ls CPU, that's another command where you can see CPU details of your system. ls memory, the memory details 180, 128, which is 1 gigs of memory. So you can have all these details with these simple commands, right? And as of now, we are again in this path home EC2 user and we are logged in as default user EC2 user. That's a default user on Linux, Amazon Linux systems, right? So that's a default user. Like let's suppose, okay, we have used Git, right? And then used Git in our operating systems. Do we have Git here? It tells you git command not found. You can install git. How do you install the packages? We will learn installing packages separately, but let me tell you, we'll be using something called yum. Yum is the package manager. On Linux systems, we'll install packages with package manager. Package manager is something which can help you install your packages in Linux. Because in Linux, like the installation is a bit different. Like all the binaries goes into bin folder, all the libraries into lib folder and all. So for you to do this manually, it would be a big task. So we use package managers like Yum. Yum is a default package manager for CentOS, Red Hat based systems. Ours is CentOS Red Hat based system, right? Amazon Linux too. So we are using this Git. Okay, so you can use yum install Git. Okay, this will install Git. And these yum repositories are configured in yum repos. I'll show you that in some time, but just understand yum is the package manager for CentOS Red Hat distributions. If it is Debian systems, there's another package manager called apt-get. Like ours is, okay, ours is Red Hat based system. So the package manager is yum, depending on the distributions. Distributions are like versions in Windows. So if it is Debian systems like Ubuntu, the package manager is apt-get. So you have different package managers depending on your operating systems. These package managers can be used to install and uninstall your packages on Linux without you manually doing all the installation. So that's what yum install git will help install the git package. And one more thing you have to notice is it will tell you need to be a root user to perform this command. Root user is like the admin user or the super user. We call your root user as a super user on your Linux systems, or else in simple terms admin user. Like you have admin on Windows, root user is the admin user on Linux. So you need to be an admin user to do this stuff, right? So you need to switch to root user. Like in Windows, you have admin. Here is the root user. Root user is called super user or super admin, whatever, with who will have all the privileged access, right? So you need to be a root user to do this installation, like you have admin in Windows. Okay. So if you want to install this, you can switch to root. How do you switch to root? Sudo su hyphen. That will help you switch the user. See here, you can see the prompt changed. You are seeing something like a root at the rate IP address, right? So now you can install this. Install it. Any packages should be installed as a root user. Now you can see the package is downloaded and it is asking for confirmation. Give yes here so that it will download the package and install it. Okay, so it is installed and you can see git version command so that you will see the git version. Also, if you run git now, it will not tell you command not found. It will give you a lot of verbose. It means that git is installed. Similarly, as we progress, we'll be installing many more packages. Okay, we'll come to this package manager again a little later to install HTTPD packages, Nginx, Tomcat, Docker, and so on. We'll be working with many other packages where we'll be using this yum package manager. Like I told you, right, this Linux is spread throughout the course. It's also, yeah, when you are learning, you cannot just complete it in a day or two. It takes some time. So that is about the package manager and basic installation. And we are now working as root user. And the Vim, okay. Let me go back to, again, how do you switch back to EC2 user? Exit will help you switch back. See, I'm an EC2 user. I can go to the test folder. I have some file1. I'm trying to edit this file1.txt. I'm using Vim editor. Escape I, it goes into insert mode. Hello, hi, good morning, and so on. What if you want to edit any lines? Escape DD will help you remove that line. Escape DD. So that's how there were so many shortcuts, options to work with the Vim editor. It may take some time for you to get used to this Vim editor, but slowly you should be fine. Like here, every day, like I told you, right, you shouldn't try to master this all in one day. You should spend a couple of minutes every day on this Linux basic command. That's how you will learn it. Okay, though this Linux is in the Linux commands or in the module 3. Hmm. Okay. Editing with the Vim editor is added separately, right? All the shortcuts. You have to keep this beside you when you are working with Vim. All the shortcuts, including escape I, entering the text, everything is here, right? The file name, the shortcuts, H to move the cursor, one to the left, L to move the cursor, one to the right. Slowly you can learn them, right? So you have all those commands and the steps documented in here. Is this clear, everyone? So once you practice these basic commands, now we'll have user management and managing the file system, like user management, how to create different users, what are all the different type of users we can create. Like as of now, you see the EC2 user and the root user, right? One second. We have seen EC2 user and root user. Let's suppose we have a DevOps team of 5 people. How do you how do you create ID for each user? Like let's say each user can represent one physical user, right? If you are a team of 5 people, you can create 5 users like this, and there'll be one user with all the admin privileges. So each user might need different permissions on the server, different permissions on the files. So how do you provide those file permissions and all? So that's what we should learn. Any more questions from anyone in this part? We shall get started with the user management, file permissions in the next class. Any questions from anyone here? VMware. Oh, sorry. It's a clear. VMware is a previous answer. Okay. Clear, says Anbalagan. How about others? Any more questions from the previous classes? Have you completed hands-on? Have you all completed hands-on on Git? Okay, half of the hands-on done, says Rajan. Shekhar have completed it. Anabalgan have completed it. Good to know. And Pranchal have completed 3 classes lab assignments. That's good, but utilize the weekend. Okay, I know your busy schedules and all your working professionals, but spend some time, allocate some time over the weekends and try to complete all the hands-on whichever is done in over the week. Right? That will help you as we progress. Right? So as we progress, we get into the advanced concepts, we get into the things where you have to do all of them in one go. When you create your pipeline, you cannot leave it in the middle. So try to do hands-on, complete on daily basis. That will help you a lot. Okay, we shall take up from here in the next class. Like tomorrow, we shall take up from here. And if no queries, I'll close this for today. Anything else you have, any other questions, you can feel free to post it in the WhatsApp group. Okay, and we'll take up from there. Thank you all. Have a good day. Bye, everyone.